Hello, are we here? We got a server error 403 there when I clicked in. I'll have to check that we're on all the platforms. I get a feeling that we're not because nobody has said hello, good evening yet. So there's a good chance we could be talking to ourselves tonight. I think, you know, but I will. I will maybe log out, log back in again if we're getting that tonight. Oh, that's most curious tonight, isn't it?
Most.
Are we going?
I don't think so.
Wait a see. Oh no, we are here. We're on.
Oh
We're
yes,
on.
we are. We're on.
We're on. We're on. Are we on Facebook tonight? I get a feeling we're not on Facebook tonight, but I will have to have a check and see. And if we're not on Facebook, I can force it to go because I have a back door into Facebook.
I just have one of these. That's rather lovely. Royal Brackla, 14-year-old. That's 14-year-old, isn't it? 14-year-old, single malt, bottle 84 of 100. It was for Edinburgh Whisky Festival bottling. Look at that for a colour. Isn't that absolutely stunning?
It looks absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic stuff.
It
And
really,
51.4 ABV. Lovely.
yes, it does. It looks good. Looks very good. It looks very, very, very good indeed. So, what is new then?
This is required about my house tonight because there's one of these wee fuckers about the Muscus. Muscus. This is a book about distillery cats, and I could do with it because there's a moose loose in my house.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't like mices. I don't like mices at all. So I don't. But aye. I know this is actually a book all about distillery cats. So yeah, maybe not the most riveting read for the whiskey aficionado, but it's the sort of thing I pick up just to have a quick read through.
Tell me this: does a mouse in the house cause you to grow facial hair because you can't sleep or you can't shave or something like that?
I'll be in Icyland next week. Hope, fingers crossed. If the place doesn't blow up, I'll be in Icyland next week. And,
maybe they thought I was going with you.
Well, that was it. Probably thought Murray knows Justin, so therefore we might as well blow the place up to make sure Justin doesn't come.
Because I got an invite by a mutual friend of ours to go to a Pat Jennings statue unveiling, and 5 minutes later he says, "Hold fire." Pat Jennings just keeled over. He couldn't make it up. It's the curse of McCartney. Yes, I know.
McCartney curse. So living legend, an all-round decent spud, Pat Jennings, at the sound of Justin coming. Yeah. What else have you been up to this week? Anything exciting?
No, just filming a few graveyards and stuff like that, and that's it. But I don't know. We might be taking a trip to Dublin next week. We might not. You might be. You might not. We don't know what's happening yet.
No. Marty picked up a really nice bottle of whiskey at an auction. So I might have to nip down, pick it up, and then we might stop in Dublin on the way up again. But I remember the last time we done this, you killed my motor car. Do you remember?
I did.
The curse of McCartney hats again.
I know. It is funny, but you didn't believe it. You didn't believe it until we went to get that pizza, and it says pizza 8 delayed, and it was 7:45, and it wasn't starting, it was finished, and there was people sitting there eating pizza,
and they'd run out. I mean, I could have made one up, but no, Justin is just a scud. That's the long and the short of it. Isn't it, Justin?
It is. I am a scud.
You are a scud. I'm just thinking, me and you was chatting beforehand, and I don't think we've actually put the news stories into order, did we?
We haven't, so you just have to take it in the order that they come. You tell me what it is, and we'll try and find it.
Right. Well, first up, this week saw the launch of the Causeway Collection, the Bushmills Causeway Collection for the Irish market. Now, I'm not sure whether the other markets when they are going to be released, but this is the lineup of bottles. Now, I'll just do the two Irish ones that were launched this week. Is a 2010 cognac cask, and this is kind of what Bushmills do. They do ones that says years, other ones that says how long it's aged, and so on. But anyway, this is the 2010 cognac cask, 53.8% ABV, non-chill filtered. 7 years in Oloroso sherry and bourbon. Then it's recast for 5 years into cognac casks, and the cognac casks had cognac in them for 15 years. Tasted you and I both tasted this a couple of weeks ago. I tasted it again on Wednesday when I went down to the Causeway distillery, the new Causeway distillery, to do it down there. Like this one, very nice, very nice. So this is the cheaper one of the two that were released for Ireland. The other one is 1999 New American Oak, first filled on the 14th of September 1999. So 5 days after my wee boy was born. That was 5 days after my son was born.
But you like things that are connected to important dates in your life. I think there's a lot of relationships in whiskey that work well like that. Is that why you like it, or do you like it because it's good stuff?
No, I actually prefer the cognac one, which is a fourth of the price.
Right.
Yeah. So this is New American Oak. 23 years in New Virgin Oak, bottled at 50.1 ABV, non-chill filtered, and the casks came from the Kelvin Cooperage. Now, that one's a strange one because most of the time, if you put stuff in Virgin Oak, really a few months is nearly enough to give it everything you need, and leave it in a bit too long makes it astringent, makes it green, overpowers the whole thing. But that was 23 years, so that takes takes a fair amount of balls to keep something in that long. But yeah, so that's the two for Ireland. Now, the other ones for the Causeway collection are, well, I'll run through all of them because I just wrote them out as I saw them. Now, the 2010 cognac one, a 12-year-old New American Oak, a 10-year-old plum brandy, a 10-year-old Sauternes cask, 1999 New American Oak, which we just talked about, 21-year-old vermouth cask, 18-year-old Spanish brandy, 18-year-old Cuvée cask, and a 21-year-old Grand Cru. So that's the lineup, and I'm not sure where they're going, what markets they're going to go for, but that's the lineup for this year for the Causeway collection. I pulled out of my Causeway collection the Sauternes cask, so I might have that in a wee minute. A little bit sweet, that one for me, but it's still very nice. One thing I will just say, I was down at the collection that launched the other day, and there was lots and lots of stuff about how everybody was doing and how they'd done this for so many years and so on and so forth. They seem to forget the recent history. That's all I'll say. I don't want to dwell on it too much. But how long's Alex been in charge? That's all I will say about that. Don't want to go into too much because I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. But I think there's thunder being stolen from other people. Anyway, there's a little video, a Bushmills link there to YouTube.
Yep, and we can show it. Yep, we should be able to show it. Hold on, bear with us. Here we go.
We stop making that grunting noise.
The Causeway collection, with every drop, golden revelation.
So there you go. forged in the footsteps of giants. Never a truer word said. But
looks like a video for the Giant's Causeway rather than Bushmills Distillery. But there you go. That's marketing people for you.
Aye, that's marketing people. Yeah, but yeah, again, the Causeway collection, the standard of stuff that Bushmills pump out is second to none most of the time, and then they just go, you know. Justin, you muted it. There's no sound. That's what we're hearing.
No, I didn't mute it.
Well, then it muted itself.
It muted itself. It muted itself. I muted me. I muted me because otherwise you hear it twice.
Well, put it like just if you put the link up, people can watch it themselves afterwards.
I can do. Yeah. Yes, I can. I know it's one of those nights. One of those nights.
Now, launch this week from our friends over at the Hinch. So this is going to be Hinch. I was talking to Jamie at the Whisky Social. Let's do the standard whisky thing. Talking to Jamie at the Whisky Social, and he was telling me about a new rebrand. But this isn't the new rebrand. This is part of the Connoisseur Cask collection, Connoisseur Cask series. So it's being launched this week. There's a sort of private launch at it, and this is 5 years in ex-bourbon casks, and then 6 months in Madeira wine casks. Hinch can be a bit of a funny one at times because they've quite a reasonable sort of standard range. I think they've got 5 different bottlings. They kind of all look the same. Now the Connoisseur and the craft series that they brought out, they kind of look a bit more standoutish. I managed to sell a couple of bottles of Hinch today because I was working. For me, some of the Hinch is a bit hit and miss. I do like their peated. I think their peated whiskey is superb because it's really, really, really punchy. Quite like the Imperial Stout in the craft series, and this could be okay too. This could probably be quite a nice one. I think the rebranding of the Hinch should probably be a good idea, if I'm honest, because they made a bit of noise, just whenever COVID was starting, and I think it kind of muted it a bit, and a lot of the staff down there were probably quite busy catching up with all the COVID-y stuff, so it's sort of lost a little bit of momentum, a little bit of impetus. So getting a rebrand, it's not going to be total rebrand, total new bottles and whatnot, but boosting it, giving it a bit of a oomph now probably would be a good idea, I think. What do you think, Justin?
I quite like the bottles. I quite like the brand.
Quite like the bottles. Well, I think they look a bit too much the same.
Could do. It's much more than one product. I do like the tweak. The antler's head, the stag's head in it is a big thing.
There's a whole different sort of branding. I don't think it's massive shift away, but I think a bit of a we probably won't do them up in an arm.
I don't mind that, but it's almost like the stag's head's more associated with Scotland than with Ireland. So it's a but maybe it equates to whiskey.
To be fair, I don't think we haven't seen the whole product. We haven't seen the whole thing. So yeah. I think decent, well thought out. A little bit of a change, a little bit of a tweak, and a bit of a oomph. I'll probably do them the world of good, if I'm totally honest. I see Andy's wanting to know what sort of prices for the Causeway collection.
Yeah,
range from £100 roughly up to £450. The 23-year-old New American Oak is £450. So it I think is the most expensive one. So yeah. A lot of them would be nice to try. It would be. Causeway collections. Bushmills, when it's done right, superb. Let's just put it like that. It's hard to beat. But yeah, between 100 and 450.
But will it be easy to get?
None of the rest of them are easy to get, so no. I mean, the ones they release in Ireland, you can still pick them up. We still have them up in the Friend.
Unless it's at the airport and you can't get it.
No, the Irish release ones are still up in the Friend. You can get them up there. Best out of the lower end one is the Pomerol, £100 a bottle, and the best out of the best of the Causeway collection I've tasted so far is the Marsala cask one. It's super duper, really good whiskey, really good. So yeah, those were quite good.
Now, what else is there tonight?
Now, the Mirror. I sent you a link for the Mirror. Lies, Dram, Lies and Statistics. The reality behind whiskey investment promises. Now, I know this drum has been banged numerous times, but I quite like this article because Andrew Penman has went through various companies with the help of Blair Bowman. According to online advert for whiskey investment partners, investments could expect juicy returns of 12% per year. Okay, you think that's fair enough. Whiskey Investment Partners is a trade name for Blackford Casks Limited, run by director 35-year-old Alistair Moncrief of Leeds. But then he goes on, many of them bought and sold had sold their casks back to Whiskey Investment Partners for the same price they had bought them for, not the 12% return. It claims whiskey is a tax-free investment. This only applies while it is in the cask. It becomes taxable when bottled. It goes on to list some of the various things in an adjudication that was done on Whiskey Investment Partners. The company's plugs tempt to make an average of 13% per annum when investing in whiskey. This was London Cask Company. So it goes through the Advertising Standards Authority for evidence of the returns that asked them for it. And London Cask Co admitted that just 2 of them had so far sold for their investments, and they had merely recovered their purchase price. So it goes on. The article's quite in depth, gives links to a few adjudications. If you go through it, up pops Jay Bradley of the Wolf and Whisky Club. Now, this week I spotted adverts for Facebook placed by Wolf and Whisky and Wolf Club, temptingly offering an average of 8 to 18% returns. And Whisky and Wolf Club Limited bills itself as the leading cask whiskey investment opportunity and was founded by 42-year-old James Bradley, also known as Jay. There was no risk warning on the advert or warning that investments were unregulated and might go down in value, as required by the enforcement notice issued by the Advertising Standards Authority. Early this year, Whisky and Wolf Club in hot water after claiming to be the only cask ownership business in Britain regulated by the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. In fact, just the credit brokering side of the business was regulated. The FCA responded by ordering it to contact all customers, explaining why investments were not regulated and ordered a similar clarification. It's just a nice article that goes through company by company, well, some of the companies, telling you some of the stuff.
Peter Stewart says he sees their ads regularly.
Exactly. They're pretty much everywhere. They're ubiquitous these days. In a separate case, I told in 2021 how I posed as a potential investor to hear the sales pitch from a pushy sales rep from Mason Gray London Limited, who tried to get me to invest in Irish whiskey casks costing £6,500. What he didn't say was that after factoring in expenses such as tax, bottling, shipping, I'd have to sell the stuff at £48 a bottle just to break even. The rep also refused to send their terms and conditions until I agreed to invest. Worst of all, the picture of its supposed distillery was actually the Dalwhinnie distillery in Scotland with the Mason Gray London logo superimposed on it. The company is now in liquidation and £300,000 to unsecured investors it owes. Yeah, it's like everything else. Just if you are going to invest, do your homework, do your due diligence. Some of the distilleries as startup projects offer cask ownership.
So did people lose money, or did they just break even, or they just got their money back and somebody else got the profits then? What happened? Who knows?
Well, this is all a relatively new thing. I mean, there has been brokerages and stuff that have been getting people money for a long time, but you can lose money as well as making it. When a distillery offers casks, sometimes they'll actually offer that they'll buy them back in a few years' time with interest. Not all of them, but some of them. Check the T's and C's. The reason for that is they want the money in straight away. They want some cash in there and then. They'll buy it back. They're quite happy to give you a couple of % interest, but they will they'll take that risk. The big investment companies, when they're talking about you can make 568%, that was sort of a couple of very specific bottles, not the casks that you'll be buying. They're sort of generic whiskey casks. Go with people that are reputable. Same as everything else. Go with people that are reputable. Go with people. If you're going with a distillery who are selling their product, it's kind of an injection of faith in their product. So if you happen to like Titanic whiskey, for example, they're selling you their casks. You know what you're buying. You know what you're paying for. You know the brand. You know the history. And you can see their T's and C's. Go over to Hinch or go over to Sleeve League or go to any of these kind of guys. That's what you're buying. You're buying into the new distilleries and you're buying their product. That's not what happens a lot of the time with these investment companies. With the investment companies, they'll tell you that we invest in these distilleries. There's been a few cases where that's not technically what's ended up happening. So, so just to be careful. Okay?
I know. It's like everything, but isn't it? You need to know to know. You can only be protected from yourself so much.
Well, put it like this: if you read that article, it helps to inform your decision. Let's just put it like that.
Good.
I just think if you're going to part with $6.5 grand plus, you really should be knowing what you're doing.
Probably.
Yeah.
So if you're watching tonight, remember to comment, like, and share. We're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, Telegram, LinkedIn, and wherever you get your podcasts. We put it up there as long as it isn't visual, because otherwise it doesn't work in a podcast because people get annoyed about listening to things they can't see. So where are we heading tonight? Because we have a lot to get through tonight.
Perpetuity whiskey. Remember a while back, I said that this was a new thing. It was kind of the infinity bottle concept, but in bottles where they're going to go where you go forward. Perpetuity, what they've done is they tell you what goes in. Batch 1, there was 1,430 bottles. And it was the blend of 21.9% Glentower single malt, first fill Oloroso sherry hogshead, 22.2% North British single grain, ex-bourbon, 23.9 Deanston single malt, 32% North British single grain virgin oak, blah, blah, blah. So they've blended this up. Well, now they're on to batch 2. And keeping in with the infinity bottle model, 10.9% of the second batch is actually the first batch. So it's 3,000 bottles of the second batch, and it gives a list on the website of what has went into batch number 2. So moving on, it'll be into batch 3, 4. There's always going to be a certain percentage going to be the previous batch, which I really think I quite like the idea of this. It's that sort of Solera model put into batches and bottles going forward. So unless you absolutely drain the cask, there's always going to be a bit of all of the previous bottles, albeit no matter how minuscule, going forward. So I quite like the idea of this. And
I know. I always love it when you say Solera because it always reminds me of James Bond in Diamonds Are Forever. uh, you know,
Yep.
it does. It does. It does. Uh, why is this so interesting, and why is nobody else doing this, man, Marty?
Well, oh, lovely. Well, people kind of have been doing the Solera method for a long time in different guises for blending up various things. This is just sort of on a slightly different scale. I just like the idea of this. I think it's one of those things that's quite different. They're not trying to be, oh, look at our single malt that's such and such and such and such. This is them telling you what's in the blend and just taking it on through. So yeah, I quite like this as a sort of model going forward.
Very good. Very good.
As I say, it's I think I'll probably end up buying a couple of bottles, one of each of the new ones, or sorry, one of each of the batch 1 and 2s to take it forward. You know,
Right. Very, 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 very good. It'd be interesting to see what that tastes like. It's
yeah.
Is that almost go? That's a bit like. Is this it's the same as the Waterford saying a blend's better? Is this a way of saying a blended whiskey's better? That
Waterford don't do well. They do the cuvées, I suppose.
yeah, that's what I mean. I mean,
They do. No, but that's all single malts. They don't do green whiskey.
All right. Okay.
So no, this is them moving things forward a little bit. So yeah, I just think it's I think it's quite interesting. I quite like the concept of it moving forward. So yeah, the perpetuity bottle.
Very good.
That's quite nice. 45 pound a bottle, I think it is. So yeah, I'll have to give that a word. Next up, Irish whiskey tourism continues strong recovery. So the itnn.ie news report came out there this week. According to the Irish Whiskey Association, 93% of distillery visitor centres across Ireland have seen an increase in visitor numbers since the start of the year. Currently, 29 of those whisky distilleries operating in Ireland have visitor centres, and this year has seen a strong rebound of visitors from key overseas markets like the UK, North America, France, and Germany. Now, 29 visitor centres, 93% have seen an increase, which says 2 haven't. I'm not sure which 2 that would be, but they may not have had very big to start with. So, yeah, it says that visitor numbers are increasing and moving forward. Thousands of visitors that distillery tours attract right across the island drive much needed economic activity for other businesses in the local area. So, yeah, it's good news. Hope it continues that upward trend.
How does it compare with Scotland? Because does Scotland have more or less visitor attractions to do with whiskey?
More visitor attractions and an awful lot more numbers. But
right.
The US far outstrips Scotland. Remember we did the thing for the Sugarlands distillery in Tennessee?
How many there was? Yeah.
Right. That nearly has the same amount as all of the distilleries in Scotland combined.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, it's amazing. But it's amazing that, and considering the tourism sector hasn't really bounced back,
not fully, no,
not fully, for them to have bounced back to that level that all but 2 are up is pretty good going.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just a sort of mark of how popular Irish whiskey is and how it's moving forward all the time. I see Peter Stewart saying there he bought into a new distillery and have no communication from them whatsoever. I would just give them a bit of a drop them an email about that, Peter. I wouldn't be too suspicious of anything about it, but maybe just be nice if they got you a bit of communication. I'm something similar. I have casks floating about. You never really hear much about it. Whiskey's a sort of slow industry, Peter. You know, I've whiskey of mine is actually of age, so technically it's whiskey. I suppose I should maybe go down and get a wee sample of it one of these days, but I'm in no big rush. I'm not in any big rush. Keep her calm. You know, yeah. But that's it. Moving forward, I don't see me going at it anytime soon.
Okay. What's next tonight? Remember, we're halfway through the show. If you want to comment, like, and share, tell your friends about it. We're live Saturday nights, 10 p.m. on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Telegram, Twitter, and wherever you get your podcasts from as well. Now,
the last one is next week. It is the Watching Now. Is next Saturday, and it is 18th of December, 18th of November, sorry, bar 1661. So if you are about Dublin, and wish to get your little bum down and get really well enjoyed, shall we say, you will. You can head down that direction, and it'll not do you a pin of harm, because we were there last year,
and it was very, very, very good. Very good indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get down this year and broadcast live from it. So that'll probably be the show next week. Live in the afternoon from Potchie Now. We'll be talking to a few people there, see what the crack is.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy that. Yeah, really nice. So yeah, Potchie Now, enjoyed that last year. I might be in Iceland, but the whole island's going to explode because they keep on dancing. So I might not get.
Oh, you don't want people turning into lobsters in the Blue Lagoon. Cooked alive, you see. I don't think it ever has happened that it's surged up, but they're erring on the side of caution just in case.
Just in case. Just in case. You never.
Yeah, that's why my name's Justin. Just in case.
No, just in case. Now, what I want to talk about tonight, that's the news. Out the way. What I want to talk about tonight. I'm doing these whiskey experiences and doing these whiskey tours and so on and so forth. I've been to a couple of ones recently. That one I hadn't done because I hadn't really time, and the other one I'd done before, but I just wanted to see what it was like again. So what's the first one up, Justin?
Shall we run with the one which is in Dublin's First City?
Okay, we'll do that. So, the Irish Whisky Museum in Dublin. Now, a museum comes from the Greek, and it means a place apart. That's what a museum actually means. And it's supposed to be a place of learning, a place where you go to discover new things and so on and so forth. So you kind of expect, oh, it's going to be good. There's going to be lots and lots of old bottles, history, and so on.
Just like that.
Well, pull them up full screen, Justin, to have a wee look at these. Because if anyone is eagle-eyed, you'll notice that they're all Scotch. There's none of them's actually Irish. All,
that's true. Yeah. Yes. Jurors.
Yes.
Of course, they're all Scotch miniatures.
They're all Scotch. Yes. So that's not Irish whiskey of the museum quality. Okay. So nip over to the next still there, Justin.
I think we're going in the right direction. We are, yes. More.
Pull them up full screen, Justin.
Yes.
And you'll see there's Glencoe whiskey.
Hey, that's where they're redoing Jimmy Savile's house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pull them back up full screen. I know you thought you were pulling that down to make a great joke, but just keep them up. Do you see there's Bruichladdich, Isle of Jura, Oban? None of them's actually Irish whiskies at all. So there are all these miniatures floating about. There's Balvenie at the back. So, yep, next slide, Justin. Fire on the next one. Again, more, every one of them Scotch, Tobermory, Inchgower, and so on. Right.
There is a Bushmill sign in the background there, like.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay. That redeems the whole thing. So these are some of the bottles that they have up. So I was quite pleased to see the Podrine Mare, which is a bit of an obscure one, because the Podrine Mare was bottled for the Thatch. It's a coolie. Not that uncommon. I bought one not that terribly long ago for 200 quid I paid for it. But they're not that particularly rare at all. Again, skip along. Yep, some more stuff that they have in bottles. Same sort of cabinet. Now, this is the tasting glasses. The Irish Whisky Museum. A little bit of a strange glass, quite nice glass, I think. Not that bad. But going ahead.
It's not a
I think-
Tua or Glencairn, sure it
No,
isn't.
it's
No.
not. It's just. These are the whiskies for the tasting. Sham Rose Whisky. It's crap, is what it is. It was a whiskey bottled for an Italian company who came up with the name Sham Rose. Now, the front of the bottle actually looks very similar to a very popular
So it does.
whiskey. Yeah. So these were the three whiskies that you get for your money. You get Sham Rose, Busker, and Parr's gold label, even though it's the white label. These are the three whiskies you get to taste at the end of it. The guy doing the reviews was just, or the guy that was doing the whole tour and then the tasting at the end. Oh, it was just poor. It was just dire, if I'm honest. He was trying to crack jokes that nobody really got. Nobody laughed. He was dying on his arse. A bit like most of the time, whenever you tell jokes, Justin, most
I
people
know.
just die, go.
They're like that. They go over people's
No,
heads.
it's more like and below them. But yeah, at one point he actually turned around and he said, he said something about being awake because there's other photos, and he said that awake, by the way, is what people hold when people are dead, and we maybe should, and he turned around and went, we should maybe hold one now. That was how bad it was. Just an absolute fucking shambles. Just skip on.
Yes, it sounds almost like a sham whiskey, Sham Rose, but there you go.
Nice enough bar. Skip on. So
Quite
just
nice.
generic.
Bars, yeah. Oh, nice bar.
Now, this is the old bar. Now, this is the last bit. Is there any chance you could go to the front and then come back, or go to the end and come back? Because you've got this the wrong way around. They've sort of loaded up the wrong way around.
Okay, I can, but I don't know where I'm going. So I'll go to the end and come back. Hold on. We say cancel media, Facebook, museum, pieces, load more. So the very end is three different bottles that are really old. No.
Yeah, the old bottles. Yeah, pull them up.
Yep. Hold on. There we go. And there we go.
So that's actually, there's a couple of really nice bottles. That's the Dublin Whisky Distillers Bond at 1916. So that's a really old bottle. That's a really nice one to have. Donegal Street, bottled for McGlade, Donegal Street in Belfast. I know a guy who would like to get his hands on that one. That would be a nice one to get into the frame. But yeah, so that's a nice bottle. Next one.
Nope.
No, that's the other way. No. You're going the other. You're going back. You're going back the way you were going.
First of all, I'm not. I pressed the right button in the right direction, but it's going the other way. All right. So there we go.
There we go. So that's no. You've been on that one. Go, that's one.
That's it.
Allman's Pure Irish Pot Still, year 1916, Nuns Island. I know they paid quite a lot of money for that bottle because that's probably one of a kind. I think if memory serves, they paid 16 grand for that bottle. I think a few years ago.
Of course, that's 1916, so that's Easter Rising year, you see.
It's nothing to do with that. It's because that's the only bottle of that in the world. Nuns Island whiskey. I'm nearly sure that was billed as that. I'm not sure whether it is or not. Allman's. So the next bottle, really nice bottle, Cassidy's.
Yes,
Cassidy's of Munster Avon. A guy not that terribly long ago bought a bottle of that and paid £23,000 for it. So that's a nice bottle to have in a museum. So those three bottles, very nice to have in a museum. Those are ones you would be quite happy to have in a museum. All the rest of them are Scotch miniatures and sham rules. Just
So,
bollocks.
well, if they're 23 grand, you would hardly expect them to have more than two or three expensive ones in the museum, because you couldn't keep up to that if they were 10 grand each, could you? Well,
You
it's a
seem to forget
museum.
where I work. You seem to forget where I work.
I can know it. It's a private collection, really, but isn't it? It's a private collection.
Yeah,
You know.
but this bills itself as a museum and has 3 good bottles. So the tour starts where you go into a smoky, like thingy-bob. So go on to the next picture.
There.
Sorry, that's the bar. Sorry, that's the bar you go into. That's quite nice too, I have to say. It's quite pleasant. So yeah, that's the bar. It's coming up to Halloween in this, so yeah, that's the entrance into it.
It looks quite big.
It sort of looks big, but it's not really.
Right. Okay.
It's not really. So that's up and still the entrance hall. That's up in just as you go up in 19th hole. Whisky. This is a bit disconcerting. I find these a bit odd. That's where you go into the bathroom. When you're standing having a pee, there's 2 owls standing looking at you, which is not. It's just a little bit disconcerting, if I'm honest.
You would like owls, Marty. Do you know why?
Why?
They like eating wee mice.
Oh, I know.
That was funny.
Hilarious.
Okay. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. They're not very well stuffed owls, by the way.
So they've got very stuffed.
I think something from Harry Potter. I hate Harry Potter. Oh boy.
Right, next one. So you're going through the museum. That's just a screen. There's a bit of a video comes up.
Oh, there you sit down.
These were our punters going in. And you go in, there's this sort of weird, like, potion-y looking thing where he talks about witches and people making whiskey and water of life and all this kind of crap. It's a bit odd, and it's all like, what do you call that? 1970 Black 7. It's all about Black 7. You know, everyone's all sort of polystyrene and shit.
I like Black 7.
Oh, you might like Black 7, but the stuff's it's like fucking Crossroads or something. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It's shit. So
we're gonna get struck off. I noticed that silhouette too, Ross. It does look a bit dubious. In that picture, the silhouette of that ball, it looks very dubious.
What's that?
The silhouette, and if you look over to the right, the silhouette there over on the right. But anyway, never mind. Let's move on until somebody does report us.
I don't know what. So this is the next room. You go into it's got a coffin in it, and they start talking about wakes and about people getting drunk at Irish wakes. And the last time I was there, the wee girl just sat up on the top of it, swinging her legs, and then said about how people used to drink casks of whiskey, and if the first third killed everybody, the second third blinded anybody, and the last third everybody enjoyed. Which, if you murder about 100 odd people, it's probably not going to do your business much good. I wouldn't have thought. So this was the bit where your man said about he wish he was dead, which kind of I wouldn't have minded either, if I'm totally honest. Then you go into this place, this bar, and the bar. If you pull that up full screen, that's the guide who was dying on his arse. I mean, he was just shit. There's no, I can't even begin to sort of describe how bad he was. I don't know. Maybe he did know plenty about whiskey, but he didn't lay it on. And I don't try and act belly big balls or anything like that. Shit, correct people while they're trying to work because they hate it whenever people do it with me. But there was loads of stuff that was just wrong. These sort of talking screens behind you that are sort of like Harry Potter portrait films crap.
There's closer up. I see what you mean about them. They look quite like holograms almost, yeah.
Aye, well, they're just sort of moving pictures.
It's supposed to be like a picture of Dorian Gray can talk.
No, it's supposed to be videos that people actually speak in. And
right.
they all sort of come up, hi, I'm John Jameson. I'm John Jameson II. And It just goes. It's just sort of tacky. It's just shit. Absolutely shit. Then you go in and do your tasting, and it's the Sham Rose. Seeing 100%. Trip with a
Yep.
friend, just infinitely better. Infinitely better. Go to the next one. Go to the one that you're in, because that's back into the bar. That's where they do
Yep.
the tastings. The bar looks all right, but it's just generic bottles of yellow or sort of orange water. It's not actually whiskey. Because you can tell that they've spent such little time, effort, and money on the place that it's just ridiculous. So yeah,
Hard
again,
to
that's the bar.
hard to tell. That's all. That's all the miniatures again, isn't it? It is. It is. So, right. Somebody's bound to point out that they're all Scottish miniatures.
I'm sure they probably do, but I don't think anybody in it cares that much. It just there's the whole atmosphere of nobody gives a shit. People coming in, they'll just take their money, give them a couple of drinks, bugger off. There's another tour happening in half an hour's time. Get them round, do that, get them out, boom, 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 boom. It's shit on an unimaginable scale. It's the worst whiskey experience I've ever done. By a
Right.
mile. The guide was just he couldn't be bothered. He was trying to crack a couple of jokes that nobody laughed at. The whiskies were crap, all barring the Pars. Pars Gold Label, decent enough, generic whiskey. No time, effort, thought, or real expense, other than buying the property or renting the property, whatever they do. I don't doubt that for a second, but put a bit of effort into it. I mean, I think it was €18 for a ticket, if memory serves.
Right.
But just crap. So avoid like the plague. Right?
Meanwhile, is this how it should be done?
Maybe, because the next one is in Edinburgh. Right, so we decided to take a run. No, that's the Irish Whisky Museum again, Justin.
So it is. What the hell's going on here tonight? That's madness. Hold on to a seat. Media.
Peter Stewart asking, why is the tourist board not pulling them up? Because the tourist board don't give a shit. TNI, they'll ask people, did you enjoy that? And people will go, it was all right. Because they only got a couple of free drinks, didn't cost them that much. They killed an hour, and most of them don't know very much about whiskey. So it's just shit. So don't waste your money on it on any way, shape, or form.
It's good, isn't it? What do we say? Where are these loading? Hold on to it. I'll put them up, but they're not in the right order. There we go.
They're definitely not in the right order, but that might actually be the end. So they're not in the right order. This is the Princess Street Johnny Walker experience that Diageo have spent 7 fortunes on. The place looks amazing. Right, what are you doing here? Because I don't know what's coming up.
Neither do I. So I'm going to load them up again, and hopefully this should be the first one. It's not.
Put it like this: the Johnny Walker, as everybody knows, is the best-selling Scottish whisky. It's incredible how successful it is. What they did was Princess Street in Edinburgh, over in the new town. They bought is it a 7-story building, and converted it into the Johnny Walker experience. Now they do a whole host of different tours. The signature tour, £30. Whisky Explorers, 35. That's the one I did. So if Justin gets this loaded up, we'll be able to see it. Stir at the Bothy, £48. Johnny and the Chocolatier, £65. Johnny the History Adventure is £50. And the Whisky Maker's Cellar is £95. And what you do is you go into the experience and you go around it. On the various tours. Beautiful building. It's absolutely stunning inside.
I have no idea what's going on whatsoever. Absolutely no idea what's going on whatsoever. I've loaded up a different 10 pictures, but the same 10 pictures have loaded.
All right. Okay.
So,
Well, let me just bounce through them and we'll see what happens.
yeah, they're just it's just madness. So there we go. So
Right. No, that's the very end. That's the very, very end. So go the other road.
show stream, hide. So there we
Right.
go.
So this is still upstairs. This is the artwork there is all around, and they got local artists relation to the guys in the relating to the distilleries to do artworks. It's all sort of funky modern art, funky architecture, and so on. So yeah,
Looks
more
well,
of the
very
same.
colourful, quite
Yeah,
contemporary.
very, very nice, very nice. That's over towards Jura direction, and all that. So this was my guide. Now he was from Mongolia, and his name was Shan, Xian. So he goes by the name of Ian. Really nice guy. He had just come back from a month in Mongolia. So what he turned around and said was, I do apologise. My accent has got much, much heavier because I'm literally just back from Mongolia. Um, he, he's very ambitious. He wants to do more in the whiskey industry, and being a guide and sort of looking after this is really his first step. He said what he wants to be is an ambassador to China for Johnny Walker. Really nice guy, bit nervous, which is a bit of a shame because he didn't need to be. He's working for the biggest drinks company in the world in their flagship store for whiskey. He'll know more than 95% of the people coming through the doors. Just needs a little bit of a encouragement, I suppose. But nice guy, knows his stuff, just a little bit nervous.
So it was the antithesis of Dublin. He actually knew his stuff there.
He knew his stuff. He was well trained. Money has not been any object to what they've spent up in the place, so that's not a problem.
There's
It
Russ
was
saying Johnny Walker spent too much money on a modern
mm,
experience, and he was on a turn. It was underwhelming at Cola.
Kalila. We'll tap on to the next picture because Ian, nice guy. Pull that up full screen. We see. So this was basically 4 of the products that goes into the final blend. So Cardew, Clynelish, Kalila, and Cameron Bridge that goes into Johnny Walker Black, which is the one you get at the end. So what you do is you do a tasting of each of 4 of the component and constituent whiskies. So skip along. That's
Just
the view from the place.
There we
So
go.
this is the flight that you get. So you get 5 whiskies, decent enough measures. Clynelish 14, Cardew 12, Kalila 12, and a Cameron Bridge 2004, which is obviously the grain input of the whole thing. So yeah, you go through the 4 components before tasting the last one. So go ahead and skip across. All right, those are all pictures of Johnny Walker. I don't know where you're going here. So no, that's all downstairs, so don't worry about that. So we do the Johnny Walker Explorers. That's the one I did. So you do the 4 constituent parts up in this building that Justin has just pulled up. Beautiful building. No, don't bring that one up. Beautiful building. They've spent an awful lot of money on it. The views from it are stunning. You look right out over Glasgow, right up towards the castle, all down Princess Street. It's really, really, really nice. But the problem is, you drink the 4 constituent parts, and all of the 4 constituent parts are nicer and better than the Johnny Walker Black. The Johnny Walker Black is mediocre at best. I don't really understand why they let you taste, a 14-year-old Clynelish and then let you taste Johnny Walker Black. Because I think the idea is supposed to be you go, oh, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. Oh, that's really nice.
But it
Yes,
doesn't
that's
work.
good, that's good, That's good. That's good. That's really not great. And therein lies the problem. So yeah, that's kind of the issue.
There you go. Russ agrees that is the case.
You're correct, Ross. Correct. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange experience. Beautiful setting. Guy doing the tasting was knowledgeable enough. Just leave that on that because you've bounced across there's something that's not really relevant to the tasting.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just a bit strange. I don't know why they let you taste 4 better whiskies than the final end result, which is a bit really, really, really bland, if I'm honest. And all of the Johnny Walkers are heading that way. Now, this was supposed to be at the very end, but I came down and I says to the guy, "You brought out the new Umami um, limited release Johnny Walker Blue Label Umami bottling." And the boy says, "Yeah, do you want to taste it?" I went, "Yeah, absolutely. I love umami. I think umami is a great flavour profile. Something I really like in a whiskey." So I sat down thinking, okay, this could be nice. No, it's Johnny Walker. It's very, very bland with a little hint of soy sauce in it. It's 320, £25 a bottle, I think it is. And it's like, the label bottles are beautiful, really nice and well designed and nice, lovely blue bottle. But the liquid ain't no £300
Doing it
whiskey.
wasn't doing it for you then? Why did it?
I would struggle to find out who any of it would do anybody for.
So,
It's
they didn't have the balls to actually make it that earthy taste that you prefer and a lot of aficionados prefer, or
no,
why bother then?
it seems most Johnny Walker that seems to be what they're doing with it. Make it very light, very bland, very drinkable. Most Johnny Walker, most people will probably not go, "Oh, it's disgusting, it's horrible, whatever." Most people will go, it's all right, it's drinkable. But that's not really good enough when you're charging £300. When it's Johnny Walker Red Label, it's £18 a bottle or whatever. You know, it's basically palatable alcohol that you can put coke in or whatever you want to do with it. That's kind of what it's for. Those highballs that the Japanese folk drink, lemonade and ice, drink away at it, no problem. It's £18 a bottle. What do you expect? When it's £320 or £325 or whatever it is, no, come on, guys, you can do better than that. You really can. So yeah, that's not. Don't be buying that. Okay. In
Is it
fact,
because they're scared to make? They don't want to make it sweet, or they don't want to. They don't want to ruin it. What's the idea? Well, yeah, well, exactly.
yeah, make it smooth, make it tasteless, and everybody go, "Oh yeah, it's okay, it's okay." It's just not good enough, to be honest. So yeah.
Right.
So what's the next photo?
That's some more of that.
Yeah, it's just artwork.
More artwork.
That's see the umami thing. Umami's a Japanese flavor. So if you ever take soy sauce or MSG, that's what umami flavor is. Mushrooms or umami flavor. And I really quite like it. And I thought this would be better than it was, but
No.
no, it's not. They give you this little tasting right at this sort of setup. And I imagine if someone would be standing over you going, "Do you like that?" As some Japanese chef sharpens a katana sword. "Do you like that?"
Yeah, you would say yes.
Yeah.
Now, for the life of me, I know there's lovely multicolored pictures of all the Johnny Walkers in different national costumes or different national fight. I know I've downloaded them. Can I find them to upload them? No.
Oh no. Frank, how's your knee? How's your knee, buddy? I meant to message you during the week to ask you how your knee was. Because I know you had a knee transplant. I hope everyone's going okay for you. Let us know. Let us know. Johnny Walker, they need to stop reinventing the wheel and stick to what they really know. Their sales keep increasing, Russ. So they're doing whatever they're doing something right. Although, to be fair, Johnny Walker sales collapsed this year in Central America. So much so that Johnny Walker's share price or Diageo's share price absolutely plummeted. during the week.
Yes, I heard that myself. What's going on there with that, Marty?
A lot of the Central Americans are just drinking tequila. There's sort of loads of tequila being bought.
Is that because there's been a renaissance in sort of the national drinks of Central America, Southern America, and a lot of the big brands own tequila brands now and are
Well,
pushing it?
Diageo own lots of tequila brands, but their whiskey sales dropped a huge margin.
So basically, because of their product portfolio, they've cannibalized their own sales.
Well, they probably sold one a bit for the other, but tequila growing at a fast rate too. All the premium tequilas are growing at a fast rate. So there's all these. Did you find the colourful Johnny Walkers?
I had to go in and physically look for them because I don't know why they weren't loading up, but I have them there. That's Johnny Walker in Irish flag, I think. Yep.
Yep, and that's the green, white, and orange. There he is in Scotland's flag.
These look lovely, by the way.
I tell you, there's no expense spared. There he is with the Ulster, the red hand Ulster on it.
So he is. It's not even English flag. It's the emblem of Ulster.
It's the old flag in Northern Ireland.
Very good.
Which nobody ever uses anymore.
And then Welsh dragon. That's nice. Yeah.
Welsh dragon. Yeah.
And then we're back. Oh no,
missed.
Where have they loaded up?
Anyway, didn't matter. But what's Russ asking here? But you need to ask why the stock prices dropped. Maybe it's because they are creating shite. Yeah, I'm probably, possibly, Russ. I don't know. I can't. I'm not a statistician for Diageo, but what I have noticed a little over the last while is that even in secondary markets, prices have sort of dropped a fair bit. Not collapsed, but they've dropped a fair bit. I think what's kind of happened is lots of people have finished lots of their collections and so on. And a lot of people probably, maybe Central America's more affected by the cost of living crisis than people in the West, possibly. With the inflated whiskey prices, I don't know, but I'm just hazarding a guess that probably tequilas might be a bit cheaper.
Tequila's local, made cheaper, and all. Oh yeah, okay,
yeah,
very good.
You talk to people, and it's funny because when I'm working, and I was working there today, people come in and the vastly inflated prices of some of the fairly mediocre whiskies, a lot of people aren't prepared to pay it. They just aren't. You know, they're quite happy to buy a non-age statement blend at your sort of £35 to £50 range as a gift. But whenever they see something, oh, we're heading up over the £150 mark for something that's a bit, well, kind of a hard sell, shall we say. They're just not prepared to pay it. The ultra premium stuff, there's a very select band that's going to pay £1,000 or £2,000 for a bottle of whiskey. So you don't shift too many of them. But the guys that are at the top of the tree, if they want to buy £1,000 bottle of whiskey, they'll buy £1,000 bottle of whiskey. But most people aren't paying that. Most people will pay in between your sort of £25 up to £100 at a push. You know, so yeah, I think it's a bit strange. What's going on? The Irish Whiskey Museum needs that statue to tie all the Scotch miniatures down. Yeah,
I seen that. I thought that was rather good.
I think they would probably get one of the staff to colour in a sort of Scottish saltire and wrap it around some statue that they could state a traffic cone or something that they could nick out the front of it, because they won't spend any money. They bought 3 bottles of whiskey that were expensive. So yeah, I mean those Cassidy of Munster Avon bottles are like hen's teeth. There's not too many of them floating about. Sure, there's not, Justin?
No, there's not. I wonder where they are.
Oh, I wonder if one will be very soon.
Oh boy, I tell you. Right,
Aye.
What a show tonight. Look, too many photographs, loads and loads of photographs. Really good. What I think it is I think that the picture quality from your Google Pixel camera is so high that you can only load 10 pictures at one time. So if you try to load the 30, it won't load them, and then it decides which ones I want to load. I don't know. It's madness. You tag me. We seen your pics, Jordy. We seen your pics, Jordy.
Jordy was at the Prince Edward Island. When Prince Edward Island show to Whisky show, Spirit Fest. So it was 45 stands or something. They told me there is. So hope you had a good day, my old son. Hope everything's going well for you. More. Was it 40? You told me. Was it 40?
Something like that there. Something like that there. But it looked pretty. It was good turnout, but it was good turnout of reasonably big brands. It says, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I must just say a wee thank you to someone else from Canada, because today I got these little miniatures in. 2 brewers. What is it? The 2 brewers Yukon single malt apple syrup barrel. A wee taste of that. And 2 brewers Yukon single malt peated. So thank you very much, Ross. Thank you very much, all the way from Canada, all the way over to my wee house in Glenor. So yeah,
good. Listen, so fingers crossed. I'll be at Potching now next week. I'm hoping to go down. We do have an invite, so we'll go down. We might even be down before that, and we might have something else for you to show. We don't know what's happening at the minute because everything's up in the air. Everything's up in the air.
Yeah, never know. But
all right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Do you know what it is tomorrow?
It's Remembrance Day.
No. Much more important.
It's 12th of... It's your birthday?
Correct. Yay! So, I'm off to get pissed.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Look at that. He's not even 40 yet.
No, and I've got a bit of facial hair now.
I know.